Deuces Wild 2025, motherfuckers!
Well, happy New Year to everybody. Not only in the chat room, but my buddy EB, baby.
Thrill, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Let's work backwards here. How were the holidays?
Oh man, holidays are good. Way too much eating and drinking. After Christmas and all that, went to the ranch, spent a week at the ranch, and then my nephew's getting he's engaged, and so they threw him a shower. So we went up to Starkville and did all of that craziness up there, and since then just been home hunting my little fanny off.
Well, let's start with your t-shirt. Caution, I have no filter. That's fucking fantastic.
That is a tribute to you and I, brother. This is right here, me and you. That's how we roll. And
So
not only do the people in the chat room know us well, but now all of the people that are on TikTok and guys I see at the ballpark and girls and all that sort of stuff, they're like, "We love you and Eric. We love you guys." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, tune in, God damn it, let's go."
yeah, it's tough to get people to the live broadcast and fire away in the chat, but everybody certainly is enjoying either the social media clips or we are getting thousands of downloads every single week, which is nice on Apple and Spotify and everywhere else. But Thrill, this suit that I'm wearing, and I'm going to give you an option here because I know you have your own style, but this was a velour suit.
It is a velour suit. I can see from the reflection off the screen.
Gifted by my lovely wife in Ann Gloss to me and Giuseppe Pepe Manuele.
Oh, no.
With the asterisk, hey, let us know if Thrill wants one and we'll suit him up. So here we go. I mean, look at this thing, bro.
Oh, you're a shiny bastard right there. That's what you are.
It looks so fucking
Hey, I would love to see Pepe Manuele with that suit on, with his zipper down about right here, with all his chest hair poking out right there. It'd be a sight.
It would be a sight, that's for sure. You know what else is a sight? Bet Online, the number one online gambling destination for all the latest news, scores, odds, predictions. You got it. Bet Online is the spot to go to. If you are a football fan, no better week than Wild Card Weekend. Bet on whatever you want. It started actually with I think it was like D2 national championship game last night. This is one of the best weeks of football all year. Go to Bet Online to lay your action. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
You can type in the promo code BLEAV, capital BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. Bet Online. The game starts here.
You're getting really good at that. Even with the 2-week break, you really rocked that one right there.
Yeah, I've had the daily hustles to keep me fresh and going. And you know what else is fresh and going? Breaking news here on Deuces Wild. The San Francisco Giants are in agreement with future Hall of Fame right-handed pitcher Justin Verlander, a 1-year, $15 million deal. Will Clark, your thoughts?
I think that is a great acquisition. I definitely think there's some more in the tank for Justin. Plus, on top of that, we got quite a few young starters and a guy with, Justin's pedigree. He's going to be able to help them out. I mean, you got Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, Hayden Birdsong, Landon Root, just to name a few of them. And I think being around a guy like Verlander, hearing his thoughts on things, You're talking about Cy Young winner, MVP, ERA title winner. Um, all it's going to do is help those younger guys, and I hope they start picking his brain as soon as they get into spring training.
So just as recently as 2022, he was the American League Cy Young Award winner, a 1.75 ERA. He led the league with a .829 whip. That's walks and hits per innings pitched. This guy is a savage. So in 2023, he had a 3.22 ERA between the Mets and Houston. And then in 2024 in Houston, Thrill, that skyrocketed to a 5.48 ERA, just 90 innings pitched on the year, gave up 98 hits. The skeptics are going to say he's trending the wrong direction.
Well, he was also hurt. He only had 17 starts last year. So, it's always tough when you're a starting pitcher and you don't have your best stuff, because you're hurt. But, the skeptics are also the ones that are not in the fucking batter's box. Let me tell you right now, when you got a guy like Justin Verlander on the mound, you got your goddamn work cut out for you. And that's exactly why they're called skeptics. It's because they can't fucking do our job. So I am happy that Justin Verlander is a member of the Giants. I think it's going to benefit not only the organization, but then Justin too. Give him a little shot of adrenaline to ride out in the sunset really well.
So, another thing that's worth bringing up, they obviously missed out on Corbin Burnes, who
Yeah.
they went after hard. Apparently, they lost him because of geography. He didn't want to be in the Bay Area. His wife didn't want to be in the Bay Area. They wanted to stay in Arizona. They just had twins. They have a 3-year-old at home. Makes a ton of sense, especially when you're getting up over $200 million in that
Yeah.
fuck you money.
Yeah.
But you then had a couple options. And if you wanted to go with that veteran presence, it was either A, Justin Verlander, or B, Max Scherzer, who they decided to go with Verlander. Do you think that's the right choice?
You know what? That's a great question right there. I know that Scherzer has a little bit more time in the NL. So that would be an attraction there. Or, I'm just speculating here how the package got worked out with Verlander. It might have been something really simple, real basic, and whammo, the deal got done. So I'm just speculating there. But like you said, you had Verlander, you had, Max Scherzer, two, I mean, you almost can't go wrong type of guys. But we got Verlander. I'll take Verlander any day of the week, and go out there and all you young guys pick his brain. And then as far as you, Justin, goes, hey man, just be one of the dudes. Just be one of the dudes, and your shit's gonna light up San Francisco.
My favorite thing that you said, Thrill, and where it just made a ton of sense, is you talked about the young staff of the San Francisco Giants. And to be able to bring in that veteran presence
Yep.
as a pitcher, it's a huge difference. Not even a relief pitcher. It's like, as well as I know, you have the starting pitchers, you have the relief pitchers, and you have the position players. It's
Yeah.
almost like in the NFL, you have the offense, the defense, and the special teams. And each one of those units needs a fucking leader. So, Justin Verlander instantly becomes a leader of that San Francisco Giants starting pitching staff, and I love it.
Yes. And so now what you got is, all right, you have a guy who was a premier power pitcher. And you look at the young guys that he is going to directly affect. Jordan Hicks, power arm. Hayden Birdsong, power arm. Kyle Harrison, power arm. Okay? Then we got Landon Roop, who has a tendency to get away from his fastball and go more breaking stuff. So, it'll be great, if Verlander can come up to Landon and go, hey, we gotta harness your heater, get your heater in the zone first, and then everything plays off of that. And so, you look at those four guys that I just mentioned right there and we're not even talking about Logan Webb or Robbie Ray too. Hey, the Giants are sitting pretty right now as far as maybe starting pitching and the depth that we're going to have.
Well, it's funny, for whatever reason, the first person I thought about was Kyle Harrison. And I just think back to Justin Verlander's best days. And it was when he would be able to ride that four-seam fastball up in the zone a lot like Kyle Harrison does. Now, the difference is that's sort of Kyle Harrison's main pitch that allows him to have the success that he has. But it's, what are you doing when you're not throwing that pitch? That's your out pitch. We know that. But what else are you doing? This is a type of situation where you could get a Justin Verlander to come in and talk to Kyle Harrison and say, hey, look, this is how we set this up, but there's a process to that.
Yeah. And on top of that, Verlander was definitely one of those guys. I mean, he was a 95, 96 guy, and then he'd get ahead in the count, and all of a sudden, out of clear blue, 90, 98, 99 shows up. It's like, whoa, where'd that come from? And he beat you with it, and that's the thing that Kyle Harrison has. Kyle Harrison has, 93, 94, but then he can jump it up to 96, 97. So he's got the same kind of repertoire, and that's why I think it would be a good thing, for him to get all up in the ear of Mr. Verlander.
We briefly touched on it, but obviously the Giants went full send on Corbin Burnes, and they came up empty.
Yeah.
Do you have any more insight other than what we know and has kind of come out, and the fact that he wanted to stay in Arizona because that's where he owns a home and he just had a couple kids and he preferred to be there?
Yeah, no, to be totally honest, I don't know anything more than that, but that kind of makes sense right there. I mean, it's like, hey, dude, I can pitch in my backyard. I can be daddy. I can be around. I can see the kids and all that. And yet at the same time, they're giving me $210 million. So I ain't going to be working on food stamps here. So, I think, for him and his wife and, sitting down, making that decision makes sense. Definitely makes sense. I don't know once again, you and I speculate. We don't know the ins and outs, but if that is the case, it makes sense.
So, Thrill, you personally, you grew up in backwoods.
Oh, here we go again.
And you went to college in Mississippi. If there was a team that you would have signed with because of locale, would have that been the Atlanta Braves, or is there another team I'm missing here? The Astros?
Yeah, no, the Astros are only 4 hours away. Braves are about 7 or 8 hours away. And then, you and I talked about it a few times. I got drafted in high school by Kansas City. And, I got family up that way. So, so it was some interesting times back then. But, looking back on it and what happened in San Francisco and, getting the guys together, all that sort of stuff, it was the best thing that ever happened. Matter of fact, let me run this one by you. Trey comes up to me the other day, and he did a version of what you do with the Topps cards, and he's reading off the back of the cards, and one of them is me and Kevin Mitchell, and he's reading off about our '89 year, about what Boogie Bear did and then what I did and all that sort of stuff, and I took a screenshot of the picture, and I took a screenshot of the back of the baseball card, and I sent it to Boogie Bear. Not 5 minutes later, Boogie Bear calls me up, and we had a freaking 30-minute discussion. I mean, just brothers loving each other, and man, you were the man, and I wanted to get on for you, and you were pushing me, and it was just, it was awesome. It was like being back in the clubhouse again.
So I had an opportunity to run into Kevin Mitchell when you were there for your retirement ceremony for the number and everything.
Yep. Yep.
I couldn't believe how much of a boogie bear slash like teddy bear that
Yeah.
this guy was.
Yeah.
I was taken aback just how kind and warm and welcoming he was because I had heard the rumors, man. The dude was fucking running the streets of San Diego.
Dude,
And
he was
a
he
bunch
was
of
bad. He
shit
was
was
a bad
going
man. He was a bad man. All
on. Oh,
right.
yeah.
But he had the Boogie Bear side, and I didn't know the Kevin San Diego side. I knew the Boogie Bear side, and that's what kind of attracted me to him, and that's why he and I were like that in the middle of the lineup too, you know. And he never had anybody that would come up to him and just push him. I mean, pushing. It's like, come on, God damn it, I'm getting on for you. You drive my ass in. And he took that to heart, man. He freaking ate it up, and I love him for it. I love him for it.
So, Thrill, I don't know how you were as a player when it came to that mentality. I mean, I think I have a pretty good idea, but I could tell you when I played with great players, and this goes all the way back to junior high school basketball. I told you the story, I believe, about when I scored 56 points in a game, but I wasn't the best player on my team. There was a guy, Andrew Garcia, who ended up playing at UCSD, just had this amazing shot. And he helped me out with my shot. He's like, look, dude, bring the elbow in, follow through, bend the knees just a little bit more. And that was a game I just couldn't miss from the outside. I usually wouldn't even take outside shots. I scored 20 a game just by fucking slashing and dashing. But I've always looked at every single team that I've ever played on as like, who's the guy? Who's the guy that I'm going to chase? Who's the guy that's going to push me?
Yeah.
I love that shit, man. Every fucking baseball team, every football team, every basketball team, every time I was on the tennis court when I was a kid and now on the pickleball court, who am I chasing? That matters to me. I was the same way in triathlon, but I love that guy. I wanted that guy. I needed that guy. I'm not myself without that guy. And you and Boogie Bear, to
Yeah.
have that in '89, that
Yeah.
was fucking special, man.
But here's the thing, all right? And so, you know, you know, over the course of 162, I mean, there's going to be days where you got it, and there's going to be days where you don't have it, and that's just the way it is. But in those instances when it was coming down to nut cutting time, it was coming down to, all right, somebody's going to come up in a big situation right here, dude. I flipped that switch. Here we go. All right, who do I got to go talk to? All right, Jose Uribe. Come on, Jose. You're going to come up in the eighth inning. Somebody's going to be on for you. Drive his ass in, you know, fucking pat him on the back and shit like that. And just get him kind of fired up because everybody knew it, but nobody would say it. And so now I'm going up and down the dugout and I'm saying it. And I'm calling people out. I'm like, God damn it, you get on for freaking Jose because Jose's going to drive your ass in, you know, and then on and on and on and on. And it was the same thing with like Brett Butler. You know, I would go up to Brett Butler in certain games, not all games, but in certain games, I'd go, Bugsy, you go, we go. Get your ass on. Have the game of your life today. I said, because I'm ready to rock. Boogie Bear's ready to rock. You know, or if we stand in the on deck circle, you know, I'd look over at Boogie Bear and I'd say, hey, Boogie, I said, I'm getting my ass on for you. Drive me in. And you got it through. You got it, you know, and then that's how you get that rapport. And then all of a sudden you turn around and everybody elevates their game. Everybody elevates their game. They all want to follow the thrill, and Boogie Bear and Bugsy's getting on, and Robbie Thompson's doing the best hit and run you've ever seen. Matt Williams is in the mix. You know, all of a sudden, everybody buys into the program.
So the more I think about this, I scratch my head a little bit because not everybody is like you.
Mm-mm.
Not everybody is like Boogie Bear. We've seen superstars all over the league, and then also I could even bring up one closer to home right now, but I
Well,
it,
here's one for you. Here's one for you. Buster Posey was the consummate leader, but he did it in a completely different way. You know, Buster was
Yeah.
more composed. He was behind the scenes. You know, he'd talk in the, in the tunnel where nobody could see, shit like that. I was not that guy. I was the in your face, let's go. And certain people really did well with that, and then other people didn't. And then the people that didn't, what I would do is, believe it or not, I'd go up to Robbie Thompson. And I was like, Robbie, can you go talk to him? I said, you're much better of a politician than I am. Go affect his ass. And so Robbie would take the ball and run with it on that guy.
Yeah. I just even taking it one step further is that there's some guys, some superstars, just in general, and I'm not even talking about one specific person right here, but when you put other stars around them, they sort of fucking crumble. Does that make sense? It's
No,
like
it makes all
there's
sense in the world.
one guy.
I
There's
got
a
one
one
for you.
guy.
I got one for you. You
Okay.
know, and look, he was a teammate, so I love him, but JD Drew. JD was not a 3 or 4 hole guy. JD had to be down the order and he had to be protected by people. And he put up some fucking unbelievable numbers, but he was not like the main man. And
But I think JD was okay. So I think the problem with JD would have had even a much better career than he actually had he never been profiled as the man, right? Steven's the same way. It's just those guys are they have such humble nature that
right,
it's not them. They
right,
don't want to be the 3-4 guy. Now they're gonna go compete and whatever, and they're like, Burnsy, man, I mean, I'll hit 3-4, I'll do whatever I gotta do for the team, and I'm a competitor. Like, this is Steven. I just hung with Steven this past summer because his kid played for our Let Them Play team. But those guys, and I think they both would tell you, I like being 6 or 7. From my perspective as a player, I would have told you, like, when I was going really well, I wanted to be the guy at the top. I don't need to be 3 or 4. Not necessarily did I even want to be, and I was at a time,
I
but
get it,
I wanted to be the guy at the top. I want to be the fucking engine that got
dude.
the thing going,
Dude, I
right?
get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. So, I mean, this goes back to exactly what you're talking about right there. I mean, 87, I had come off of, a bad elbow injury. I rehabbed my ass off. I came out smoking from day one. Dan Gladden had broke a finger right before spring training ended. So they put me in a leadoff spot for a month and a half. Then they pushed me down to 7. And I wound up hitting 308 with 31 and 91. Excuse me, 35 and 91. And, Roger Craig, after the season was over, he was like, hey, I'm just letting you know, I'm probably going to put you as my 3-hole hitter next year. And I go, you should have done it this year. And he like looked at me. He goes, yes, I should have. And I go, yeah. I said, yeah, I had the hot hand. Why didn't you stick me in the middle of the lineup? But anyway, so that's what you just mentioned. You just mentioned some people live for that, want to be in the mix all the time. And then there are some people that are parts of the team. They're not the meat of the team. They're parts of the team. And that's kind of where I was going with those guys that I talked about.
Yeah. So we had a kid that has played for us before, and really good player. But it's like whenever you would get another really good player around him, and you bring another guy in, it didn't work well. It was like he actually didn't play as well, and
Yeah.
it was interesting because I think that sometimes they could be intimidated, and I certainly am not going to say like, look, Bonds was Bonds. Like Bonds did Bonds. Like he's an anomaly. He did whatever the fuck he did. But I do think there are players in the big leagues that instead of looking at that guy as, hey, look, this guy's going to help push me, they looked at. That's why I love when you tell me the story about you and Bonds when you guys went out to
Yeah.
Kansas when you got home from like a flight or something
Yeah.
and just turned on the light. What was that? Rehash that.
Yeah, no, I mean, Barry was hitting these freaking god awful straight freaking 2 irons down the right field line, and I was getting out on a few good pitches to hit, and I was hooking them foul. Catching all of it, but hooking them foul. And so I got Barry in the back of the plane one day. We were coming back from a road trip, and I go, B, how do you do it? How do you keep that ball that god awful straight? And he said, you and I are going to be out on the field tomorrow, 1 o'clock. He said, we'll walk through it. We'll hit as many balls as we need to. I'm like, all right, solid. So we showed up at 1 o'clock. I couldn't even tell you how many freaking baseballs we had. We had a boatload of them. And we set up a tee, and Barry's walking me through what he's doing with his hands in order to keep his hands inside the ball so that the barrel of the bat stays square coming through and everything's a true line drive. And, man, he said it. And he did it about 5 or 6 times. I was watching him, and I jumped in there, and I was like overcompensating, and I was actually pulling my hands so much inside of the ball that the ball was actually spinning and going back towards right field. And he goes, "That's it." And I go, "But it's going back towards right field." He goes, "It won't in the game." He said, "Because you're pulling your hands in there that quick." And I go, "Shit, you really?" And he goes, "Yeah." And so we just stayed it. And then, I don't know, the last 8, 9 years of my career, I guess, I might have hit 10 balls foul down the right field line. Other than that, I kept everything fair and straight. And that's just by and that's what I told you. Not only was Barry a freak, all right, but he was a great tactician. I mean, a great tactician. And I learned a lot from him, and I still use it when I teach these guys when I go around.
So if you're in Barry's inner circle, which obviously you were, and I actually had the honor to be, he was one of the most pleasurable, nicest dudes that loves to talk shit.
Yeah,
And he's got his little jabs and everything else. And I
yeah,
think that's probably why we hit it off.
yeah.
But when he talked hitting with me, it was, you're one of the few that I'm going to take under my wing, because I do know, and he's said this to me. He's like, man, they're always asking me, bury this, bury that, bury that. Fuck you. Figure your own shit out. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
my pops taught me. That's what Willie taught. Because back in the day, shit was a little different. And so
yeah.
he grew up with that mentality where when he felt like you were an outsider, whether you were on his team or not, he wasn't interested.
No,
But if
no.
he felt a connection and that something was real, and I have an opportunity to help this kid out, which was me, to help you out, which was another superstar,
Yeah.
he was going to do it.
See, and
And
then here's the thing. Here's the thing. So Barry and I go way back. I mean, we played college against each other, and then he was with Pittsburgh for all of those years when I was over there. So we had all kinds of conversations, he and I. And then when we became teammates, it was like you just said, it was like everybody came inside the inner circle, and I was not afraid to go up to Barry and go point blank and ask him a question. Till this day, I do the same thing. If I got a question, I walk right up to him and go, "B, I got to ask you something." He's like, "Go ahead, Thrill." You know, and that's just respect, I think, that he had for me, I had for him. He knew that I'm hitting in front of him, and I'm trying to do my damnedest to make sure he gets all the fucking RBIs. So he knows that shit, and that's why we become friends. We still friends till this day, and we talk like this all the time.
so, Thrill, back to Boogie Bear for a second.
Oh my man, I love him. God,
Okay,
I love him.
so do I. Can you explain this beautiful picture right here? Because if there's a poster that I want on my wall, it would be this.
Well, it looks like I can't see it, but I think I remember it. I think he's sitting there. He's got his sliding pants on. He's got a cup on. Does he have earphones in? Is that what he's got?
Yeah, he's got earphones in,
And it
And
looks like he's playing like an air guitar or something like that.
no, he's got his bat. I think he's doing a tape job on his bat, getting
All
ready
right,
to.
that's what he's doing. He's doing a tape job on his bat. Yeah, yeah. And he's got his ankle taped up. You know, he's just ready to go to war, dude.
So good, man. You know, is that a? I don't know if it's a Mercedes Benz logo on his gold chain.
No, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Hey,
That's
look, you know, that's what you know. You and I talk about the Boogie Bear. There's so many funny stories about the Boogie Bear, but the one that is my favorite, and I've told you this 10 times. Everybody in the chat room's heard it, but I'm gonna say it again. Is he had his last bat and he broke it, but it wasn't like a break. I mean, he had like a little hairline fracture in it, but it was still it was gonna come apart in the game. And he's like, Drew, can you do anything? Can you do anything? And we were in Pittsburgh, and I get the clubhouse guy to give me some nails and a hammer, and I'm freaking nailing these nails in the freaking bat, and I covered his shit up with pine tar, and I put rosin all over it and all that. First freaking swing he took with a broken bat with nails in it, he went in the third deck in Pittsburgh. I was like, oh my God.
Dude, I didn't think you were going there because I've not heard that story before. The story that you typically tell about Boogie Bear is when he was wearing the leather pants.
Oh yeah,
and they got.
No, we told that one a bunch, but I've told you the bat story a few times, but it's been a long time. But yeah, I mean, I had damn roofing nails in the thing, and I was pine tarring it so that nobody could see the nails, and then putting rosin on top of it, and that makes it really dark. You can't see shit. And yeah, first swing with that Bassett, he went to third deck in Pittsburgh. I was like, oh my God.
So I've hit with a nailed up bat before, but it wasn't because I was in the big leagues trying to save the bat.
Yeah.
Because I was in the minor leagues.
Well,
I had dog shit wood.
Yeah, no, he was waiting. He was waiting on a bat order. He had been waiting on a bat order, and he was down to his last bat. And so I had to try to help him out in some sort of way.
Oh, dude, that's so cool. What was Three Rivers Stadium like playing in? I never got a chance. I got to play a new beautiful Pittsburgh Park, but same spot, I believe.
Yeah, it's the same exact spot. I never played at the new Pittsburgh. I played in Three Rivers. In Three Rivers, it was turf. It was a hard turf. Great place to hit. Pretty symmetrical as far as like the fences go and all that. But another one of those AstroTurf fields. If you played there in the summer and the freaking heat came off the turf, that ball would shoot out of there. And with the exception of Doug Drabeck, everybody else that was on that staff, I really enjoyed hitting off of. So Pittsburgh was a good place for me.
Kind of like that San Diego staff you liked hitting off all the time?
Yeah. That San Diego staff. Those guys, I don't know. It was they were division rivals, so you got up for them a little bit more too. But then you just knew, hey, look, I'm going in there, and I'm playing against Tony Gwynn, and he's my best bud, and and then I want to show out, but at the same time, usually when I went down to San Diego, ball looked about that big coming in, and I just wanted to make sure I got good swings off.
Thrill. What a great start to the new year for Deuces Wild, where we plan on becoming the #1 baseball podcast. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, if you could leave a review, 5 stars would be fucking fantastic. Let's get into something a little more somber.
Yeah. You and I texted about this. They even brought it up in the chat room before you got on, but our man Ricky Henderson gone way too early. It's weird. 65 years old and pneumonia. It's like, wait a second, seriously? That's just a few years older than me, and it got him that quick. It's like I don't get it sometimes.
I think it's just life, though, Thrill, right? You'll hear it all the time where it's like 65, it's young, and
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know what's young, what's not young. I mean, you hear all these tragic stories of, it could be a young kid that, has this or that. And I just think that, more than anything, as, you and I have obviously, both lost loved ones along the course of our
Right.
life. It stings a little bit more when
Yeah.
it's unexpected.
Yeah.
And I know you lost your dad in a similar fashion I did, where it just wait, what?
Yeah.
Boom, gone.
Yeah.
And I think the Ricky thing, I know for me, sort of hit like that because
Yeah.
you
Well,
didn't
and then,
expect him to go.
you and I have talked about Ricky a lot lately, and then all of a sudden, he's gone. But hey, look, I mean, he's still, but I told everybody in the chat room knows he's still one of the funniest freaking human beings that came down to first base. I laughed and giggled so much with him. I might have nothing but fond memories of him. And Trey sent me this one the other day. And in fact, it was either a day or two after Ricky passed. It was a picture of Ricky in a hot tub, and it said the caption was a reporter asked Ricky about Ken Caminiti's statement that 50% of the major leaguers are on steroids. And Ricky's answer was, well, Ricky ain't one of them, so that only leaves 49% now. It's
So
like it's like he came up with some stuff that I just laugh and giggle at, man. It's like, Rick, that ain't math right there, brother. That don't add up like that.
do you remember like the first time you played against him?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was in spring training with Oakland, and you know, I had been watching him, in high school and college and stuff like that, and all of a sudden he's next to me at first base, and he's over there talking to me, and he didn't call me Thrill back then. He's like, "Hey man," because they didn't know me as Thrill and
Yeah,
all
you
that
were a
when I
young
was
guy
younger.
coming up, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, but he's over there and he's like picking on his jersey and he's talking to his hand and shit, and I'm like, Ricky, you okay? Oh, Ricky, better than okay. Ricky, all right. I mean, he had all kinds of stuff down there, dude. I mean, it was hysterical shit that I heard down there. And it just got better and better and better.
is there one specific memory, one specific time that you look back upon and you're like, man, like that's when I think of Ricky Henderson, this is a one thing I'm going to think about.
Yeah, well, you know, the one thing that I'm looking at from a baseball player standpoint was, needless to say, he was the best that ever did what he did. But if he needed to steal a base in a very important part of the game, you weren't going to throw him out. No chance. You can pitch out. You can do whatever you want. He's going to be safe. And try to pick him off of first base, that don't happen either. I mean, I got close a few times, but never got him. I don't think I ever got him.
How good was he?
Oh, the best. The best. Vince Coleman would get out there and I mean, I'd get Vince a few times, and then we pitched out on Vince a few times, got him. But like I said, if Ricky needed to steal a base in a game to win that game, you're not throwing him out. Nope, no chance.
He played much different to you actually because like you hit 34, 35, whatever, 36, you rode off into the sunset. He played until every fucking team took a uniform off of him,
Yep,
right? The last
yep.
couple of years were, I believe, the Padres and the Dodgers. He then went and played independent ball. He didn't stop playing. What does that say about him?
Hey, look, there's a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people, and I run into them all the time. They were like, I wasn't going to quit until somebody ripped that jersey off of me. And Ricky's that way. I mean, Steven Luker even just jumped in there. 25 years in the MLB. You know, I mean, he wasn't going until somebody ripped that jersey off of him. But you know, I mean, you know, we all have our circumstances, and you know, Ricky didn't have that. Ricky's life was baseball, and he's going to be sorely missed. I mean, you know, I never spent any time, you know, on his team. You know, I'm only an opponent, but deep respect, deep respect.
Did you guys realize the impact that you had back in that late 80s, early 90s time when it was you and it was Kevin Mitchell and it
Yeah,
was Ricky and it was Jose Canseco and it was Mark McGuire? You put Matt Williams in that mix, but you know, specifically, honestly, it was you and it was Ricky, and then Jose and Mark. You know, obviously were there,
yeah,
but
but look
holy
at it. Look at
man,
it this way. Look at it this way. No, and no kidding, no kidding. Because you know, I'm saying this for everybody in the chat room too. It was us. It was the A's. It was the Niners. It was
yeah.
the Raiders. You know, the Warriors were kind of dragging up, but the rest of everybody, dude, it was a time in the Bay Area to be a sports fan and pick your team. You know, if you wanted to be a Ricky fan or a Jose fan, go that way. You know, if you wanted to be a Thrill or a Boogie Bear fan, go that way. Or you wanted to do, you know, Steve Rice or you know, Jerry, whatever, you know, excuse me, Jerry Rice and Steve Young.
Yeah.
So hang on one second. My damn computer's trying to restart. We ain't doing that bullshit. But you know, and if you wanted to, you know, if you wanted to be a Raider fan, you know, Ted Hendricks and Kenny Stabler and all that, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
good Lord, back in those days, man, just being a sports fan in the Bay Area, it was so much fun. And it was a mutual admiration society. I mean, you knew what Oakland was doing. You knew what the 49ers were doing. You knew what the Raiders were doing. And, you know, you wanted to keep that level of play going for the fans in the Bay Area because they expected it.
Well, even the Warriors with the Run TMC, and it was Tim Richmond,
Yeah, yeah.
Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway, and Chris Mullen. I mean, that they were entertaining as fuck, and then you had Don Nelson, you know, running that show. I mean, and then Tom Tolbert got in the mix. Our boy, we got to get him on here. I talked to Tom for a long time, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I sent him a text after, you know, they booted his ass. And so anyway.
I'm trying to get him rocking and rolling here on No Filter. I told him I said we'll cater everything for you, bro.
Hey, you know what? I'm letting you know this right now. So I got some inside info on that KMBR stuff, right? So they let Tolbert go, right?
Yeah.
Then they let, you know, Lamont and Tonelli go, all that sort of stuff. Within the span of them doing that, and by the way, it wasn't KMBR; it's their parent company, Cumulus Media.
Yeah.
They also let Lee Hammer goes, and Lee Hammer's been with KMBR for forever and ran everything there. They let him go. When all of that crap happened, within the span of a week, they had so many people pull their advertising money that Cumulus lost $750,000 in the span of a week.
They're fucking idiots.
Yeah,
It's just stupid, man. You can't you can't do that. You can't make these massive moves like this all at once.
yeah,
You try to phase out. So they really what they went after are all the salary guys, right? The
yeah,
guys who are making money. Tolbert's been making a really good living there for a long time. I know that because I was there with them.
yeah,
Montanelli, obviously, with their tenure, they were making a good living, and then all of a sudden you pull it. What they should have done, and you have to understand this, like Tolbert, you know, is so good at what he does, and he's done it for so long. And your reach, just terrestrial radio's reach is not what it used to be.
yeah. No, you're
So
right.
you have to stay on the forefront of different ways to reach audiences like we do, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know, we're But when we're done with the show, Thrill, we're gonna be on 17 different fucking podcast platforms, and we're gonna be on YouTube and everywhere else. Like it's just how this world works these days. So
Yeah.
you think the stress of a radio thing is fucking killing you.
So like tonight's a perfect example. Tonight we got 19 people in the chat room, which is, believe it or not, high for us. Normally we're 15 to 16, right? But that's what I was telling you. I mean, I never am able to grasp social media. You guys get it, and everybody in the chat room gets it. I'm not in that era. I'm not in that generation. But yet, when I go around San Francisco, every freaking person I meet is like, "We freaking love you and Byrnes. You guys tear it up. We love your the YouTube videos, and everything else." And I'm like, how the hell do you? Oh, we TikTok you and we YouTube you and all that, whatever. And I just know that we got a loyal group right here in the chat room right here, but we're reaching a lot of other people.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like the whole point is that sometimes in life, and especially right now, you just have to meet people where they are. And it's, if they're hanging out on Instagram, well, we're going to go to Instagram. They're hanging out on Apple Podcasts, we're going to go to Apple Podcasts. They're hanging out on Spotify, we're going to fucking Spotify. You're hanging on YouTube, we're going to YouTube. I'm telling you, we go to 17 different platforms. It's really cool. And kudos to Leslie and the crew for taking care of that and uploading that everywhere. She's now sending me like YouTube comments that, and by the way, if you're listening or watching on YouTube, thank you. Whatever reviews, whatever comments, I will get to them. I'm actually going to start paying a little bit more attention myself to the YouTube stuff, but it's the world that we live in. And so anyway, yeah, it's just cool, man. I think more than anything, the point of talk radio is to be able to have these discussions and just talking bullshit about whatever it is. And it matters, dude. It matters. Like we love long form conversation. I look forward to these Tuesdays to be able to come on here with you and, talk about whatever the latest and greatest is. And not only the baseball world, but our lives. And you just kind of have these casual conversations. I think it's good. I think it's healthy for everybody.
Well, and then not only that, not only do we talk major leagues, minor leagues, we talk LTP, we talk 12-year-olds. So, this is not only about, all right, my day in the sun's gone, your day in the sun's gone. We got a next group of generations coming up that we can directly affect. And you are doing it from, your coaching standpoint. I'm doing it from an instruction standpoint when I go. And so, I tell everybody, like, why you stay in it and how long are you going to be in it? I was like, I can be in it for as long as I want. It is somebody handed me the game and I'm trying to hand it down to the generations behind me.
Is there one piece of advice? I'm kind of putting you on the spot here.
No, go ahead.
You would give to the next generation?
If I had to give a critique, it would be more aggressive. I see way too much passive in the game now. Has to be the perfect pitch. Has to be in an area that I'm looking for and all that sort of stuff. Dude, if I was sitting on a sinker away and that thing was off the plate that far, but I knew it was coming, dude, I'm going out there and I'm hammering that damn thing off the dish because I got an RBI sitting out there and I know that I'm going to be able to drive this ball. And the generation now has to have the perfect pitch in the perfect area. I have to have a perfect swing. And dude, all I need to do is get the freaking bat on the ball, find the green grass, and that guy scores. Let's go. Come on, bring it out. And so that's what I would say. I would have to critique as far as more aggressiveness. A lot of people are. And I get it. It's a lot of it is today's society too, a little bit more laid back. But every now and then, you got to kick that shit in gear.
And this is coming from a guy that would walk 100 times a year.
Yeah.
So what I
Yeah.
like to tell the boys real is selectively aggressive.
That's a great way to put it. Great way to put it. All right, look, nobody on. Okay? Yeah, all right. I'm gonna work this count and I ain't swinging at that one and all that sort of stuff. All right? But if there's a man on second and I got a chance to drive in a run and I'm looking away and like I said, that ball's that far off the plate and I've already scooted up on the plate a little bit, dude, I'm gonna lay some pipe on that thing. All right. I'm driving this run in. That's what the big boys do. They freaking shine under the lights. And so for your kids, and this is exactly what we just talked about a little while ago. You know, with Bugsy, you know, Brett Butler, you know, and somebody even put in the chat room he was a true pro. He was. He was a true pro because he could foul off some just nasty, nasty stuff. All of a sudden, he's on first base. You're like, how the hell you do that? You know, and then he'd steal, and then he's in scoring position. Here we go, you know. And then all of a sudden, it's a big inning, all because of him being a little pest. And it's the same thing with your kids right there. Dude, there's a time to be a little pest, and there's a time to step up and drive in some shit.
So when you get that runner on second base and first base is open and there's 2 outs and you're my 3, 4, 5, 6 hitter, swing the fucking bat.
There
Right?
you go.
I
There you
don't
go.
need you walking in this situation. Money lies in RBIs. If it's a first pitch hanging breaking ball, which you should be looking for and know you're going to get, hammer that bitch.
Hey, look.
Take it because it's not a fastball down the dick.
Hey, and guess what? You know, I mean, your wife even just came on there and said something about timidity and seeing something being wrong and doing something wrong. Guess what? We've all swung at freaking pitches in the dirt. I'm still gonna swing at a pitch in the dirt, but I'm gonna learn from it. All right, I'm gonna learn from it. The next time I see it, oh no, that's ball one. Here, bring it on, Jack. Next pitch, you know, that kind of thing. And so that is baseball. I mean, let's look at it just from a straight number standpoint. You fail 7 out of 10 times, and you're one of the best. By far one of the best. And those 7 times that you fail, if you are really good at what you do, you're gonna absolutely dead center that ball 5 or 6 of those times. Now that's having to deal with a lot of failure and walking back to the dugout and going, hey, the baseball gods just weren't with me. But then there's that other time where the shit fucking kicks in and you flip those switches and dude, it is bring it on. The fucking hair on the back of my neck standing up, it's like bring it on because this shit's gonna eat right now. I get fired up for that. I get fired up for that till this day. When I see somebody that has all of a sudden flipped that switch, I'm like, oh my God, where has this been? Where has this been?
Yeah. I mean, look, I think a lot of this comes with experience and it certainly comes with failure. And when you fail, you actually learn a lot more than when you succeed. And so you figure out what adjustments that you need to make
Yeah.
to go forward. And I failed a lot through the course of my baseball career. I've failed a lot through the course of my broadcasting career. I've failed a lot through the course of my endurance career, so to speak, when it comes to the swimming, biking, and running and everything else. And I failed a lot in the pickleball career. I failed a
Oh
lot.
God, the pickleball arena. I knew you were gonna bring that up. I knew
It's
you were gonna bring that
all
up.
of it, man. I've failed, but I feel like it's only through those failures that I'm able to really learn and make the adjustment. And I love that. Now, from a baseball perspective, I'm going to bring it back to this because you mentioned, hey, look, you fail 7 out of 10 times. The truth of the matter is, though, you don't fail 7 out of 10 times. So say take someone like you that had damn near 400 on base percentage, right? And so number one, that's if you're getting on base 40% of the time, you're actually succeeding 40% of the time. But I'm going to take a step further because when you squared a ball up and you barreled that bitch, that sure as fuck wasn't any kind of failure. So
No.
I then could go and say, hey, look, even as a position player, you were taking 50%, 60% quality at bats, which then would say, all right, your failure's about 50-50. Now you're still going to have a fuck ton of failure. It's there, but it's not nearly as much as that 30% that people always like to reference.
You know what? I totally agree with you. I mean, the hard games for me were not the games I sucked. All right. Because I knew that the next day I was going to make some sort of adjustment and I was going to work even harder. All right. The games that were the toughest for me, exactly what you just said. I mean, I absolutely freaking rock it 3 or 4, and you got nothing to show for it. And I'm sitting in my locker, and I'm having a beer, and I'm just shaking my head, and I'm like, it's going to show on paper that I didn't have a good day, but deep down inside, I know I did everything right. And that's one of the things that I had that talk with my dad a few times. I'm like, Dad, I'm like, yeah, I was over, but I absolutely got the pitch I was looking for. I absolutely hit it dead on the screws, and somebody's standing there. I mean, that's the sport. That is the sport, and that's why it is such a beautiful game. But then it's a hard game. It is one where you have to have some thick skin. You don't have thick skin, this sport will chew you up and spit you out.
That certainly is the truth. Bill's on here in the chat, Thrill. He wants to know your opinion on Freddie Freeman.
I'll take him. I'll take him any day of the week. And I don't care whether he's a Dodger or Brave or whatever. He is a first baseman hitter that flat out does his job. I love him. I'll take him on my team any day of the week.
Another one here. Jeez. I mean, this one's freaking heartbreaking.
Go for it.
Brian Mattis just passed away at the age of 37.
Who?
Brian Mattis, a left-handed pitcher with the Orioles for a long time.
No.
Yeah. I don't know anything about that situation, but Luker, of course, is on top of that. We'll get back to that in a minute in a double.
Oh, that's Mattis. Oh, yeah, he was an Oriole, wasn't he?
Yeah. To fuck,
Wait,
man.
was he a reliever or starter?
He was really good, bro.
Was he a reliever or starter?
Both. I think he's kind of taking all sorts of roles. Let's check it out here.
Wow.
Yeah. We like the breaking news typically on the
that's not the breaking news we like. Sorry, Luke. I love you, but sorry.
Yeah, okay, here we go. 38 minutes ago, a cherished teammate, former Orioles pitcher Brian Mattis dies. The team announces former Orioles pitcher Brian Mattis has died. The team announced Tuesday night. He was 37 years old. Mattis pitched for the Orioles from 2009 to 2016. In a statement, the Orioles said a staple at our clubhouse from 2009 to 2016. Brian was beloved throughout Birdland, and his passion for baseball in our community was unmatched. He dedicated his time to connecting with any fan he could. He was a cherished teammate and always had a smile on his face. Mattis received a World Series ring from the Chicago Cubs in 2016 after appearing in one game during that season. The Baltimore Orioles here. There's another article. This is in the Baltimore Sun. They want me to log in. Jeez. Let's see. CBS News. Former Baltimore Orioles Brian Mattis, who played for Baltimore from 2009 2016, died. Our hearts are heavy tonight as we mourn the passing of a former Oriole. Wow, man.
That's
Uh,
unbelievable. That's we even mentioned it. When we were talking about Ricky. You and I lost our parents a little bit early and all that sort of stuff. But 37, dude,
yeah,
that's a
that's
year. That's a year
real.
older. That's a year older than when I retired. That's unfathomable. I mean, good lord.
Yeah, very
I tell you
sad.
what, man, it's I mean, I hate to say it, but you kind of treasure every day because you never know. I mean, I've got several people down here that are acquaintances. I didn't know them real well, but I mean, 40s and 50s they've passed. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. I just appreciate the moment, appreciate the day.
Yep, 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 yep,
Appreciate
yep.
every day we're here. Appreciate every
And
podcast that we
I
get
know we
double
got
from.
Heather's in the chat room. I know she's number one Oriole person, so I know she knows that Mattis guy. But yeah, dude. I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess. But hey,
Hey,
look, the one thing that I wanted to talk about too, is you know January 7th right now. You got to think about it. I mean, 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks till pitches and catches report too. So
we're
you
getting
know,
close, huh?
hey, that's the thing about the first of the year, man. Once the first of the year rolls around, those guys, and I've talked to a few of our minor leaguers. I'm like, dude, y'all need to up your game here. You need to up your game. You're gonna be in the shit here pretty soon. Get after it. You know, don't just go out there and lift weights. You better be swinging a stick, or if you're a pitcher, you better be on the hill chunking it.
This is the time of year that you used to crank it up, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I was always the first of the year guy. And the after the first of the year, I had I had two guys that threw batting practice to me every day, and they were freaking dynamite. I mean, I would use them on a rotating basis, but then here's what I would do is, we're in a cage, and I'm not taking a few swings. I'm taking 200 maybe. I mean, I got the blisters and the calluses, and the hands were bleeding there for a little while. Now everything's kind of got locked in, and what I kept doing was the better my timing got, the more I'd move up. And so we started at, let's say, 40 feet, and whack, whack, whack. I'd move up to 37 feet. Whack, whack, whack. All right, I got the hang of that. I move up 35 feet. And so that got you used to seeing the velocity and what you needed to do in order to get ready for the velocity. And it got to the point, and I am not shitting you. I am not shitting you. It got to the point where I'm talking about with a full arm and all that sort of stuff. I could be at maybe 15 feet in dead center.
Come on.
Dead center. All you got to do is start earlier.
That's it.
That's it.
It's all timing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But then it prepared you for, guys were like, oh, you're facing this guy and he throws so hard. Well, I've been doing that for 6 weeks, because I keep moving up on my guy and I'm simulating, a lot of velocity.
So it's funny. I used to do that with the Iron Mike, where
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I'd start at 60 feet, and next thing you know, I'm at 50 feet, and then I'm at 40 feet. It got to the point. I don't know if I ever got 15 feet.
No, but I had a full arm, so I could get my timing down and all that. That Iron Mike is just like bing, it's like on you.
Yeah. Thrill is fantastic, man. I got to roll. We got smell-o-vision downstairs.
What's Tara got for smell-o-vision?
Dude, I think she's got a ham bone.
Ooh,
So I don't know if we're going to like a split piece soup with this thing, but we just
nice,
finally
nice.
finished the ham that we had on I think it was Christmas Eve.
Nice. Hey, speaking of which, how bad cold is it there?
It's freezing balls, man.
And
Every
you're
fucking
still
minute.
out there freaking making snow angels at 5 in the morning. What's your problem?
Cold exposure. It's good for
What
your.
is your problem? You have a screw loose.
Yeah. I mean, people have tried to tell me that before. I actually think that my screws are all perfectly tightened and everyone else is a little goosey goosey.
There you go.
Yeah, man, it is the snow. The snow. What's funny is that we had a big storm come through here, and the storms typically disappoint. And we had a pretty decent storm, dropped a couple feet of snow, and then it was perfectly sunny. We weren't supposed to get shit for like another week, and then I woke up the other morning. It was yesterday. Hey guys, Stormy Burns out here with your 7 a.m. No filter network Lake Tahoe weather report. And currently it's fucking snowing. Yes, we did not expect it to snow. It's kind of like going out in a night in the city, and all of a sudden, boom, you think it's going to be a mellow night, but it's not, because all of a sudden the white powder comes around and no. That's Ron, that's blow, not snow. This is snow, and we like all the snow we could get here in the Lake Tahoe. That's what I did the other day.
There you go.
The blow and snow, I always like making the analogies. And it's funny because probably people watching it will think I was some fucking big cokehead or something. Never tried cocaine in my life.
Yeah. Well, put it this way, I mean, we had a little cool front come through the other night, and the next few days it's supposed to be highs in the 40s, lows in the 20s, and everybody's like, "It's gonna snow! It's gonna snow!" I'm like, "It is not gonna snow. It does not snow in the south unless you have rain associated with the cold temperatures, and we don't have that. So hang with them. It ain't."
Yeah.
And then so one of the meteorologists down here is like, "There's a possibility." I'm like, "Shut up! Ain't no possibility."
Joel Thompson says Indiana got hammered. Joel, I'm pretty sure the storm that we got fucking toasted with kept going to the Midwest. It always, because it comes here first. It looks like, hey, rain, snow in the Sierras, this and that. But then that bitch keeps going.
Yeah.
Right? And then it, depending on the different weather patterns and the pressure and everything else, it'll pick up steam. And I do know the Midwest just got freaking
Oh, they got smoked because we caught kind of the tail end of it, and we got a little bit of rain and stuff. When the front moved through, they got freaking plowed up there by Joel and now.
All right, dude. Well, pitchers and catchers, we're essentially a month away.
Yeah, basically. I mean, in 5 weeks probably.
Next week, you good to go?
Yeah, should be good to go next week.
Love it, man. Any fun?
Strap it on. Here we go. We'll figure out something to talk about in between then. Some sort of news will pop up or whatever. Hopefully it's not any more morbid news. It's good news.
Yeah, and I'll say this, dude. Speaking of morbid news, the one guy that will report any news, and it's not just morbid, but he's on it, Stephen Luker, great friend of the program. What's up, Luker?
Not much. So let's hope the Rock guy gets signed by the next show. That's
Roki Sasaki.
he's still,
That's right. That's right.
That
That you're right. You're right, Luke. Maybe we get a chance to talk about something like that. And in the meantime, happy haircut to your head.
Thank you. I work 2 jobs, so I had to look better for
Look
these.
at you. You're freaking aerodynamic now, dude. You're aerodynamic.
Yeah, I work at a middle school as an avi tutor, so I have to deal with middle school kids from 8 o'clock in the morning till like 4 o'clock. And it's like, by the time I'm done and this show pops up, I'm like, I'm wiped out with the kids. I'm like, can I just sneak a Cooler's Light and just chug it? But I'm like, no.
Kid Luker, what shirt you wearing, man?
It's just a travel ball shirt, and it's a long sleeve because it's extremely windy here in California right now.
Yeah, what's your no. It's not up here. I heard the winds were hitting Southern California. What's going on there?
It's really windy. Like it's windy like Chicago style wind. It feels like.
All right, man. Luke,
Hey, thanks for dropping all the stats on us tonight,
Yep.
Luke.
Story about
Appreciate it.
Joe Price, Will.
Joe Price, what a teammate.
who's Joe Price?
Joe Price, one of our relievers, and then he also pitched for the Reds too as well.
Okay.
Where'd you come up with that card, Luke?
I had a stack of 89 Fleer here, so I'm working on putting that away.
All right.
While I got a whole Savannah Bananas card set too for Christmas.
No, Lord. Hey, does it say on the back of the Bananas cards what their favorite dance move is?
I don't know. I have to look through them. But here's a did you know fact they have on your Fleer card of 89.
No,
Did you
Lord.
know the only NL player in 1988 to appear in every game led the league in RBIs and walks, third in home runs, walks, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage. First Giants player to drive 100 runs in 3 consecutive seasons since Hall of Famer Willie McCovey in 1969. First Giants player to hit 25 home runs in consecutive years since Jack Clark in 1978 to 79.
Look
That's
at you
about
go,
you,
Luke.
Krill.
Look at you go, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Luker, you're always bringing value to this program, man. I thank you for your service to No Filter Network.
Yeah,
You're the best, Luke.
I'm trying to get with my next paycheck. I'm probably going to buy some repackaged wax, which is from 50s to today. So one day, if we rip open a pack, we'll have players from the 50s to today.
Oh, wow.
And here's some stories.
Luker,
Wow,
when you get that pack, I love it. Hit us back up, and we'll get you back on here, and I'll let you fucking take control of the show.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
On that note, it's 7:24. I'm late for dinner. I got kids screaming at me downstairs. Any final words, Luker?
Not at all. So far, there is no fires in SoCal, Cardelli. We're safe. Everything's safe. Everything is just the road they're repaving down the street is a mess.
Fucking love you, Luker. I miss you.
You're the best, Luke.
Yeah. Yep. On that note,
see ya.
The fuck out of here.
Love him. Love him. He's the best. He's the best.
Yes. I mean, think about this from when we started this.
Yeah.
Like, Luker.
Hey,
he's
been our resident statistician from day one.
I know.
Day one. It's unbelievable. Hey, dude, this is some of our best shit for me personally. Like, not only this show, but like the last two. It's like, all right, the season's over. We ain't got really a lot to talk about, but we make the freaking best of it, and it's some of our best content, you ask me.
Well, it gives us a little more time to kind of step back and talk about certain things. That mentality stuff tonight was really good. Like, just,
you know what? That's a big thing. That's a big thing. And you know, I mean, you know, you and I talk about it because, I mean, you preach it to your, you know, LTP guys, you know, and I'm trying to pass it on to the next generation, but there's some guys that freaking buy into it, and then there's other guys that, dude, I'm not that guy. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. Well, you're probably not going to have a big major league career. Sorry.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't fix pussies, but that's okay.
There you go.
All right, hey, love you, man. We Happy New Year. We're back at it next week.
Next week. Sounds like a game plan. Same bat time, same bat channel.
If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, No Filter Network, if you're on the YouTube channel, wherever the fuck you are, do us a favor. Leave a review. Anything you guys, if you want to write something, it'd be nice. If 5 stars, great. Tell everybody. Though this is a podcast that needs to be listened to. It's live every Tuesday on nofilter.net. Every Tuesday, 6 p.m. And then we will fill your feed up with daily hustles between the thrill shows and whatnot. It's just great shit. And I think when you have great shit, you want to share great shit. So hopefully we're able to get this out in front of more people in 2025.
Definitely spread the news.
All right, Thrill. For everyone else out there, one last thing. See ya!